For safe and trouble-free operation of the Sabina, there are some routine procedures that should be performed prior to each use. Visually inspect the lift and check for external damage or wear. Check that all screws are tight and that the safety latches on the sling bar work properly. Check the hand control and make sure that it corresponds with the lift and width movements. Check the emergency lowering function and visually inspect the vest for damage or excessive wear to seams, loops, and straps. Please note, it is very important to select the proper size and style of support vest for each lifting application. Please refer to the instruction guide for the recommended size, weight, and use of LECO support vests. In this section, we will briefly review some of the operational features of the Sabina, including the hand control, emergency stop button, wheel locks, and emergency lowering. Please note, before using the Sabina, all operators should carefully study and understand the instruction guides for both the lift and the accessories. All models of Sabina use the hand control for lifting and base width adjustment, and the arrows by the push buttons show the direction of lift movement. Buttons must be held down for the lift to operate, and when the buttons are released, the lift will stop. If a lift fails to operate using the hand control, check that the battery is charged, check that the charging cable is not connected to the wall socket, check that the emergency stop button is not pushed in, and check that the cables are connected correctly and are seated well. Please note, if the LED on the hand control lights up when you use the lift, the battery needs to be charged. The wheels on the Sabina may be locked to inhibit movement. To lock the wheels, step on the brake pedals provided on each rear wheel. To release the wheels, press on the upraised release mechanism. Please note, in general, the Sabina should be allowed to shift position in response to the center of gravity of the person being lifted. Emergency lowering can be accomplished in two ways, electrically and manually. To electrically lower the lift, push the button on the power pack marked with an arrow pointing down. To manually lower the lift, push the red emergency lowering button on the actuator in the direction battery on top of the power pack and press toward the mast until it clicks into place. Then snap the charging cable holder on top of the battery. Reset the emergency stop button by turning the button in the direction shown by the arrow on top of the button. Place the footrest frame over the base of the mast and check to make sure that the brackets are correctly aligned. Make sure that the plastic footrest is pressed down and in a stable position over the footrest frame. Place the brace for the knee pad into the bracket on the mast. Use the lower knob to adjust the distance to the patient's knees and the upper knob to adjust the height of the knee pad. Tighten both knobs securely. In general, charging is recommended anytime the lift is not in use. This will assure that a full charge is available when needed and will provide maximum battery life. Please note, for safety reasons, battery charging should never be done in a wet environment. To begin charging, the emergency stop button must be in the out or operating position. With the built-in charger, take the coil cable and plug it into the socket. Then check that the LED lamps on the electronic power pack are lit. Please note, if the battery charge indicator fails to light, or the battery fails to charge from the built-in charger, check that the emergency stop button is not pushed in.